one of the things that I want to, like, in those last few minutes, try to just do a practice about is being able to get better at getting back to the idea of a shape, that you have a shape that's both created by perceptions around you, but you also have a shape from inside to out. You have dimension within, that if you only have your dimension within mentally, it's going to be more fragile. So one of the reasons why I started Mind Body Solutions and teach yoga and try to share yoga is to help people realize dimension in what, using the body to make them know that it's much more resilient and expansive when it's not just mentally or emotionally perceived. That in fact, it's something that I need to practice and own, right? And I need to practice it not just by reflecting and introspecting with my head. I need to actually live it through my spine, out through my limbs. And when I take up my own space, and when I mean take up my own space, I mean take up what I can control on the inside and what I can't control. When I take up the space that I inhabit, I am less subject to and affected by lack of understanding and appreciation from the outside. Because at the end of the day, your experience, all of you on this call, is going to be your experience. And no matter how much, I mean, I'm so sick of telling my story. That's why I told Chanda's story quick for her, so she didn't have to say it for the 100,000th time, like about what happened and why I talked about Kevin quick. Is like, that part of my story I'm tired of, right? But it's something that allows people to realize kind of what Poppy's saying, like it's an acknowledgement of like, you know what, there's a serious story going on here. And that's what I want people to pay attention to. And so sit up straight and tall. This idea of filling from inside to out. This is what one of the reasons why I was attracted to asana was because I didn't just want to reflect and go inward. I wanted this dimension that is within me to actually be proactive into the world. Not so I was never just wanting to reflect and meditate. Damn it, I just want to live. This body is the best mode of expression whatever I am will ever have. If I can live from inside to out, from my life force, if I fill up my own space, but that also means being able to separate it, right? It's one of those paradoxes. So sit up straight and tall. One of the things that actually really helps with is to first find the sensation of space, right? To be able to create it. And if I just try to think of it like a math equation, that's never going to work. So one of the things that I want all of you to get better and better at is being able to soften your organs of perception, right? So relax from the temples, the skin on the face, but don't just go towards relaxation. I want you to like soften your jaw, the inside of your mouth, relax your belly to relax your throat, balance your head over your neck. Start the process of allowing that your emptiness that you carry with you all the time has dimension, right? So at first there's a letting go to allow the sensation of your inward emptiness to have dimension, because your mind is scared of it a little bit. Your mind perceives your depth usually as vulnerability. So you're softening, letting your brain ungrip. But now I want you to start to activate. And I think how you activate, right? Because I'm worried of people's judgments in the world, as when I was first injured and trying to prove everything is okay, I didn't have my own body in relationship to my outward experience enough, because I was always trying to compensate for it. So the practice of inward, and then realizing that inward dimension, I'm putting my hands on the table, right? Grounding the feet. Now I can put structure under my emptiness. I can combine emptiness with strength, right? And that is a really important part of keeping your shape, right, is to not be downtrodden by judgment and like sympathy around you, but to actually know that your own emptiness is underneath you, is you can put strength underneath it. So start to feel your feet, your sitting bones. Start lifting up the front of the chest. Now, I want you to know, as you're lifting it, broadening across the chest, right? I want you to drop a curtain down your back body, right? A silk curtain, because I want you to stay soft, even when you're being strong, right? This is part of the claiming of the inward dimension of your shape, right? It's full. Your shape is always full, right? And our bodies tend to do this when we go inward, right? And we tend to think it's not an expansive state. No, expansion is physical and it includes inner dimension. So hit down and then you start to just feel your breath. So I want your rib cage, as you're softening the organs of perception, to feel the rib cage, right? Expand. The first few breaths, it expands on the outside. And you can feel how it lifts your chest. But now I want you to feel the inner circumference of your rib cage. I want you to go inward and outward, hit down through your sitting bones, extend down through your inner heels, lift your chest. You have an inside and an outside. This is the place that we don't put life through, right, as much as we could. And movement, you're going to find that it refines a yoga pose. All right, so there's another space I want you to get. So lean forward. So if you need to, I'm not going to use the table anymore. I'm going to use my own legs, right? Here's another, I want all of you to have more space in your low back, okay? And I want you to be able to like create the sensation of space. Because if you don't inflate your own space, other people's judgments will. Okay, and so you've got to figure out how to claim it. And it's not just a mental barrier, right? So I want you to hit down through your sitting bones and lift up through your chest. So I want you to hit down and lengthen that low back, right? And I want you to add another level of dimension. Feel where your feet are on the floor and broaden right across your low back. And then extend from the inner groin to the inner knee and down through the foot and lift your chest. And now take a couple breaths. Feel the expansion of your rib cage, but also the inner circumference of the expansion. Be on both sides of that. Strength is not just on the outer side of your rib cage. It's on the inner side. The inner side is going to be more apparent if you ground your sitting bones in your heels. I want to live from inside to out. I'm tired of taking care of everyone else. All the people that project somebody trying to show them that it's not deserved, all that stuff. And then come on back. And then I'm going to lift up. So I want a sense of lightness. So the thing about the journey inward is that it should be light, right? So I'm going to lift up, put myself in traction a little bit, and then watch and I sink back down, right? So I'm going to feel it again. Then it, like now I'm going to ground your sitting bones, your feet, come forward. On an exhale, push off. On an inhale, feel the back of your chair. Now here's a space that I want you to get better at strongly putting into the world. The space in the center of your chest, and I mean this space not as an emotion, not as like a nice touchy-feely thing, but as a projection. So I'm gonna have you go back against the back of your chair, up and over your chair, and think about the center of your chest sprouting water, right? Like it's just coming out of you. That is yours to give away or not. Are you paralyzed? Are you lazy? Well, it depends. Sometimes then I'm going to drop, right? This connection between me and the outside, it's my choice, right? It's and I want it. And the way you know this, then by the way, this is the most connected space I think in human consciousness is this part of the spine. So inhale again. Feel the tips of your shoulders, the tops of your heads, the bottoms of your feet, your sitting bones. Exhale, come forward. Especially watch the exhale, because the exhale is going to deliver you more calm, right? So the great thing about exhale is that it quiets you down on some level, but it also is the beginning of action. So, and then come on back for a second. So when you exhale and you empty in a yoga pose, that's one of the times you actually work again through gravity. So inhale up, exhale forward. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale. I hope you've been able to feel your breath all the way down, because when you pay attention to your ribcage, you can feel your feet more, right? And your sitting bones. Practice a few breaths, right? Your exhalation, when you're the most empty, is when you move through the world best. And then come on back up. So inhalation is going to give you energy. Exhalation is going to go into action, right? So inhale, take your arm up. Feel the inhalation change your rib cage. Here's a place, like, I got to feel my rib cage more. Exhale, down. Inhale, take your arm behind you wherever it goes. Now I'm going to ground here. You know why? Because I want to own from inside to out. I want to know my own dimension. My own dimension is my shape. My dimension has what I can feel and what I can't feel in it, right? Inhale and start to lift the chest. Exhale, revolve. So I enter the world as I deplete myself and empty myself out, but I bring it into action, right? So you inhale and feel the expansion, and you exhale and revolve. And it's not about the twist. It's not about how far you can twist. It's about adding dynamic energy that nobody can see, and then come on back to center. Twists are incredibly dynamic. So much of your mind-body practice is creating a form of resilience and strength that is unseen, right? It's not about the poses and how much you can do. It's whether you've got a fundamental dynamic happening. It never has to be seen by somebody. You just need to know it's there. Inhale, take your other arm up. Hit down through your sitting bones and reach for the sky, but don't just reach and strive. Bring the sky down to your fingertips, right? Bring it down, hit down through your sitting bones. Rise up to touch it. It meets you. It's not just about striving. Your life will meet you. And then exhale. And then inhale, bind your other arm. Exhale and lift your chest. And then let the inner circumference of your ribcage be felt. Hit down through your sitting bones. Exhale, and there's a dynamic energy that can transform you in the twist. It also can cleanse you. How do you get rid of somebody that's offended you on the inside? Right, and then come on back to center. How do you get rid of the dirty energy or the dirty water in a dish rag? Right? You squeeze it. You fill up and you squeeze it and you let it out. On exhalation, right? Keep your own shape by not letting it get polluted, like by the things you don't want, and you get to be in charge. So again, twists, I'm telling you, I want you to get better about exhalation and letting things go. On exhalation, you can let go of past time, an encounter, a thing you wish you had said, right? Or something you didn't say that you wish you had. Like the haunting is on the inner dynamic. That's a place we need to get better at, right? So we're going to twist one more time. Inhale, take the arm up. Again, don't think you just have to reach farther to get where you're going. Bring where you're going towards you. Down through your sitting bones, up through your arm. Where you're going already touches you. Breathe into that. Find where your strength is, and then exhale it back down. Reground. What we tell people, and then grab the other arm, right? On inhalation, I'll tell you in a second. Inhale, feel the expansion. Exhale, and by squeezing your midline a little bit, reclaim your emptiness. Transform it. It's yours. Good, and then come on back to center. Feel in the center. And then inhale, take your arm up. Exhale, be in charge, make it dynamic. Your shape, it's mostly unseen. It's only for you. Feel the inhalation hit down through your sitting bones. Lift up your chest. Exhale, revolve. Squeeze out the things you don't want in there. One more breath. Inhale, exhale, revolve. Good. And then come on back to center. Be in the center. So one of the things that is really important, not just for trauma survivors, but even when you need energy, is that exactly often when you think you should recede for energy, you should expand. So, and the thing is, for someone that doesn't, so let's say someone offends me, let's say when we're talking about offense because it's more dramatic, right? When someone offends me, I could fire back. I lose energy when I fire back. Okay? And I can decide to do that sometimes. And I'm not very good at firing back, right? Because I'm going to choose to have my shape in relationship to what's outside of me, right? So instead of firing back, I'm going to ground first. This happens on so many different interactions, right? Where you choose to have your inward dimension lead your response. So when Chanda was saying, like, I got to decide how I relate to it, this is like one way to think about it is how much are you going to fill your body today, right? And recognize where your strength is. And so your best boundary between you and the world, right, is your emptiness. And the body and the yoga pose is going to show you how to catalyze emptiness. There are other times where you need to take the same emptiness and let in a compliment. And let in help. And let in support. So it all isn't about the strong energy. It's about claiming the quieter energy so you can receive. All of these things are happening in yoga poses. There's a constant interplay between in and out. Like if you're having like a blue time, literally let more sunlight in your eyes and look up. Look up more rather than down. And I can tell you that with a disability, both literally and metaphorically, we look down more than we look up, except if you're Michael. Michael's really good at looking up, right? All right, but like this, that there's a tendency to like let in light, but you get to choose. You get to choose when you let in light. You get to choose when you like maintain your shape. You get to choose when you decide to let go, right? And all this is how you navigate. It matters, and this is part of age talking, it really doesn't matter what people think. Try to convince that to a 13-year-old, though, that's tough. To a 21-year-old, right? That's tough, right? Like, like think about, I heard a line from somebody this week that they remember from their psychology class in college. Said the line was, once you reach 10 years old, you'll never make a decision that's based only on your own considerations. Because you have more awareness of other people. Like when I'm 9, let's make it like, I'm just thinking I'm going to do this because I want to. When I'm 10, I have enough awareness of my parents, of my friends, that everything changes, right? And this shift of awareness of other is a powerful, important shift, right? And it doesn't mean I shouldn't be aware of it. It means that I have to have my shape in relationship to a complicated world. That's what you get to do. And I'm going to tell you, it's your body that shows you your shape. Not just if it looks good enough, not just if you're wearing the right clothes. It's your bones. It's the space between your bones. It's your muscles. It's softening your jaw. Your shape is mostly intangible. And you get to choose presence and what comes in and what comes out. Sometimes things come in, so I get surprised. Someone says something, or betrayal is one of those energies that feels really intense, that surprises me. When you expect a sharp word from someone you thought you would never get a sharp word, then that's when I need to practice exhalation. That's needed when I actually need to let my mental content, let it go. So we have to close up here. I'm going to stay on and we're going to keep talking if you want to. But I want you to know the inward dimension of you is dynamic. It's dynamic and it is not subject to judgment. It's only subject to judgment if you're disembodied. And unfortunately, with disability, tendency is to overcompensate and in the process to disembody. It's hard to embody, though. That's why I have a nonprofit and I've spent my life trying to help people embody. You know why? Because I need to do it too. All right, everybody, hands together if you can. You can say namaste. We're going to stay on. Comments, whatever you want to stay on. Namaste.